Hello and welcome to Unwanted Dungeon. If you'd like to check it out, there is a link in the description. This is where you play as one of 3 adventurers. I'm not entirely sure if there are plans to add more or anything like that, but this is a very distilled survivor action RPG experience where you traverse various dungeons with a variety of different modifiers and you try to survive as best as you can. And there is a meta progression system on the outside when you get to your little town, your little quest hub sort of place, even though there are no quests as far as I can tell. Anyway, this guy right here is a merchant, as you can see right here. I don't have enough money to be able to buy any of these, which is kind of unfortunate. I'm already on floor 3, or should we say room 3, and what we're going to do is we're just going to try to survive as best as we can. I wanted to show you a bit of a run in progress, as it were, because this game gets very hectic very quickly. Loads and loads of enemies everywhere. These things, these glowing things that you see me activating right now, these are crypts, kind of like tombs. And basically what they're going to do is they're either going to reveal a bunch of experience, a bunch of money, or an item, or enemies that want to murder you. Yes. And as you can see right there, there's actually an item right there. Let me pick that up real fast. And this is my skill tree. So every single time you gather experience, you're going to have the ability to level up eventually. I do think one thing, I'm not entirely sure if they're taking feedback on this game or whatever, but generally, I personally think that the experience gain is not as much as it could be potentially. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but for me personally, I'd like to be getting more experience, but maybe that's the point. I don't know. Maybe they have a wider vision than I'm seeing right now. I don't know. Anyway, this is the skill tree. There are a variety of different spells that you can unlock over time. You only have access to the electrocuted orb, the arcane projectile, and the fireball initially, and then you unlock the teleport and the hail as you level up. This particular character, by the way, because every single character has a different skill tree, of course. Now, Fireball is fantastic. Fireball is your main default ability, and if you decide to spec into that, obviously it's going to become very powerful. I personally think the arcane projectile is insanely good, and usually I will spec into that, but this time around I wanted to try out the hail spell, which is the new thing that I've just unlocked. Otherwise, this is the inventory right here. As you can see, we've got a couple of slots, and you can see here that we also have potions. And this removes all unequipped items from your inventory. Each removed item has a 25% chance to turn into random equipment. Pretty nice. Now, there are a bunch of other things here that I can decide to equip. I'm currently equipping the fiery heirlooms twice over, as well as fallen remnants, which call down a lightning strike on a random enemy every second. And we're going to see what we can do with that. So there is an enemy right here, or should we say an elite enemy. I just leveled up, actually, surprisingly. So what we're going to do is I'm probably going to make my way. By the way, we don't have to pick up all the experience. The wonderful thing about this game is that at the very end of a room, it will literally pick up everything on the map for you. So you don't have to run around and potentially get yourself killed super badly. Whoa, this is going to be bad. Yep, there you go. Alright, took massive damage. I have a bad feeling about this. I'm probably not going to be able to survive for that much longer. As you can see, the bats are getting in my face. They're doing a very nice amount of damage there. Add 2 more ice spears. Increase the hail duration by 2 seconds. Hail duration by 2 seconds sounds pretty good, actually. So we'll do that, and then we'll access our inventory here. Let's see what else we can get. Create an aura that repels enemies. I'm not a big fan of this. I feel like the 15-second cooldown is way too long, but maybe that's just me. Let's see what else we can get here. I could get 14 max HP. I mean, the 14 max HP is actually not too bad. 7.9% amplification. I believe, I'm not entirely sure what is amplification. I think that, yeah, it just amplifies our damage, as you can quite clearly tell. Yes, it's very easy to understand that, doesn't it? Okay, so we'll see what we can do. Obviously, I want to try to inflict as much damage as possible so that we can level up. As you saw, though, as soon as we take damage from anything, we're very fragile. Let's just say that. We're very fragile with this character. I'm not sure if that's going to be the case for the others. I did actually play as the archer class, and apparently the archer class is really strong at the moment. I believe that they just rolled out a balancing patch that made the archer a little bit more in line with the other with the other classes and buffed the warrior class. Now, the class that I'm playing right now is kind of like the mage, the wizard, and as far as I'm aware, this class is the most balanced, according to the developer. So I'm actually very, very happy about that, because that means that, you know, the one that I've spent the most time on is the one that's the most balanced. So that's cool, right? So yeah, as you can see right here, very, very satisfying thing at the very end, that we get all of this experience coming over to us. And I just got 2 skill points, which is actually pretty amazing. So as you can see here, the hail spawns an ice ball that rolls downwards and deals 120% damage. The ice ball lasts for 5 seconds and grows over time. That sounds pretty cool, right? Removes the ice ball's duration limit. Could do that. Or increase the ice ball's damage by 5% for each enemy it hits. I think for each enemy it hits is probably the way to go here. And then the last one is the ice ball now also creates ice spears. So yeah, you can see that there are some crazy things that can happen here. I actually kind of want to see if I can permanently gain 20% critical chance. Yeah, but we get cursed and we can no longer remove items from our bag. Yes, so if we wanted to, we could have removed items beforehand. Okay, let's go to the shop. Let's go to the shop, yeah. I am very, very happy to go to the shop. Maybe I'll be able to get some HP potions. That would be wonderful. Okay. No, it doesn't look as though I am actually able to do that. Very, very sad. However, as you can see, there are a wide variety of other things that we would be able to purchase. I'm actually unsure. Can I sell? Oh, I can actually sell all this. Yes, I can actually sell all this. This is pretty crazy, actually, that I can sell all of that. We could do this. What is quickness? Let's have a look at quick. I think quickness is cooldown, basically, how often you can use. No, never mind. Chance to instantly repeat a skill after use. Okay, that sounds pretty fun. Consumes 40% of your current health to add a random item to your inventory. No. Yeah, no, we're not going to do that either. Let's just sell everything. Boom. Sell everything that we can here. Is there anything that I can actually purchase that will give me HP back? I see this, and this sounds pretty cool, actually. Let's buy this, and we could buy the cooldown reduction rune, actually. I think that sounds pretty fun. Let's do that. And then we will be equipping this. That is pretty nice, in my opinion. My old amulet was giving me 15% damage reduction, but my new one gives me 10% additional damage multiplier, 19% cooldown reduction, and 14 damage, which is pretty crazy. And then we're also going to be having this arcane rune, which gives me 7% cooldown reduction. So I now have a grand total of 26%, which I think is pretty nice. That means I'm going to be able to use my spells so much faster than if I didn't have this. So pretty happy with that. Let's see what we can do. You can get to choose a variety of, as I said, a variety of different modifiers whenever you go into a new room. This is actually the furthest I've ever gotten, by the way. So that's, I'm not sure if that's embarrassing. I think it maybe is, but let's just have a look. Defeat the elite foes in this room to proceed. It is a large room as well. I'm probably going to do that. Why not? Let's choose the hardest thing. Let's go for it. Let's see what happens. I'm a little bit worried about this because I do actually think that I will be probably ending up dying here. I will probably end up dying. I've got to kill the elite enemies. So this enemy right here, I will have to kill. If I can. I'm just going to try and... ooh, that's a nice chest piece right there. Oh, I would love to get my hands on that chest piece. Unfortunately, as you can see, there are a variety of bats. And these bats will actually deal significant damage. As you can quite clearly tell, they do have a charging ability, and the charge ability is definitely making things kind of harsh for us. But oh, we have to, oh no, we actually have to, oh dear, I didn't realize that we have to defeat 5 elites. Yes, 5 elites. I did not realize that 5 was the number, but we've already defeated 2, so I guess that's okay, right? I guess that's relatively decent. Now, there are going to be some enemies on the map that will be immune to certain types of damage. So you will have to be a little bit careful in that regard. In other words, you might come across some people that are immune to, you know, one of your abilities, and then you'll have to be very, very careful with that. Okay, so as you can see, we got this. This is going to get me some additional... Ooh, no, I can't. Oh, never mind, never mind. This is Rebecca. Yeah, so Rebecca is the warrior, like I told you before. She was a little bit underpowered. I don't know whether she is more. I have never played her, so I wouldn't know. We have the magical bag here. The magical bag is actually extremely nice. If you can get this early on, and I would actually you know, I might be inclined to say that it's actually still really, really good, no matter when you get it, but I'm just going to go for damage at the moment. I just want to try to get as much damage as possible. I do feel as though that is probably going to be the most beneficial to us at this point, and we're just going to continue doing this. Now, you may be wondering, okay, what's the point in going over to these crypts and things like that and opening them up and potentially getting attacked by even more enemies? Well, of course, apart from the fact that the enemies do provide you with experience and obviously gold, you're also getting your meta progression upgrades more quickly, because basically how it works is the more crypts and the more chests and cursed chests that you open, the more crystals you're going to get. And these crystals are your meta progression currency, and they will provide you with a whole bunch of very, very important, very, very useful upgrades that are not just, you know, I mean, obviously in these kinds of games, most of the time you have certain upgrades that are things like, oh yeah, you're going to get 1% damage increase and stuff like that. No, you're not going to get that. I mean, I think you do get that in this game as well, but you actually gain some very, very impactful upgrades. I'm talking about things like giving you additional skill points when you first start the game, giving you additional upgrade levels for your skills, giving you all kinds of really, really interesting upgrades like that that actually do provide you with a massive amount of assistance. And you need that assistance, I personally feel. I think that is just insanely, insanely nice. So yeah, otherwise we are just going to continue trying to... There we go. I defeated all the elites. Now we're going to be getting some nice little level ups. And look at that. Look at all the money and all the loot coming towards me. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And now we have leveled up another 2 times, which is actually very nice. And here we go. The ice ball now summons those spears. I'm now going to spec into arcane projectile because I personally love that ability. And we're otherwise... Ooh, look at that. A rune that gives me 25% increased experience gain. And we also literally got the exact same necklace. Isn't that funny? Yes, we got the exact same necklace. That is amusing. And as you can see, I don't have the ability to equip this quiver because it is Elias's item. And Elias is the archer, like I talked about earlier. So what we're going to do is we're going to... I'm not sure if... You know what? Yeah, we're going to use the 25% rune for additional experience gain. I could potentially go for another 25% experience gain. Do we want to do that? Let's do it. Let's go all out on the experience gain. I think that sounds super, super fun. So we're going to go and make our way down to the... Ineffable is his name. And he is basically kind of like a bit of an antagonist, I suppose. Because he does have some rather fiendish deals sometimes. Increase the damage of your base ability by 10%. Sure, sounds pretty good. Why not? You can only choose one of those, by the way. Okay, so here we go. As you can see... Oh, hello. Hello, look at this. Look at this, 65% increased experience gain. I will take that every single day of the week. So what I have to do now is I have to stay in a certain area. And I believe this is kind of like a, if you've ever played a battle royale, then you'll know what that's all about. Basically, you have to stay inside the area, otherwise you will be killed very quickly. And I think that is what this is. I've only done this like one time, so I could be wrong about it, but let's just try and see. But I have a 115% increase in experience because of my items, as well as the game mode itself, the game modifier that we have currently going on. And this is going to be very interesting. As I said, this is actually the furthest I've ever gotten. As you can see, it is actually doing it right now. As you see, look at the red area down there. Yeah, we're going to have to move. We're going to have to move all the way over here, and hopefully I'm not going to get myself killed. Oh, what? These guys just... Oh. They stuck on me. All right. Okay, yeah, so there you go. That is... that's actually really sad, because I personally felt like we were doing really, really well, but the zombies, they seem to grab onto you And, wow, I'm actually very surprised. That ability for them to grab onto you is insane. I think that's actually insanely strong. And hopefully that gets toned down or something like that, because I personally feel like that is really powerful. Anyway, as you can see, we have Rebecca, the explorer here. She's the melee character. Elias, the hunter, who is an archer, as you can tell. And then we have Aaron, who is kind of like mid-range, and he is the scholar. And we're going to be selecting him again, despite the fact that I should probably show you another class. But I kind of like this guy. I actually kind of like this guy quite a great deal, so I kind of want to stay with him as best as I can. So, you know what? Let's stay with him, shall we? Okay, so start with a Rune of Misfortune equipped. We could do that. I think that maybe sounds pretty cool. There are a bunch of other, as you can see, loads and loads of different upgrades. Obviously, oh, I'd love to get +1 projectile count as well. That would be absolutely insane. I have no idea what these are gonna do, so I guess we're just gonna pick one. I just pick the ring, I guess. Just pick the ring, and then we could. I've got 7 points left. What do I want to do? Leveling up restores 5% of your health. I think that's kind of nice. Let's get 10% though. Let's get 10%. That's even better, right? There you go. All right. So very nice. Now we can, well, we can go through the tutorial if we want, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to go on the inner dungeon here, and then we're just going to spec our points. Now, instead of specking into hail this time, I'm going to show you something a little bit different. We're going to spec into the arcane projectile. I personally like that a great deal. I think that the arcane projectile is probably my favorite of Aaron's abilities. I think it's really good, actually. And now we start with the Initiate's Grimoire, which gives us cooldown reduction. We start with the Amulet of Misfortune, and we start with the Ring of Misfortune. As you can see, they both provide us with experience gain, and that is going to be very nice. A 25% increase already. Very good. Now, the first modifier, or shall we say mode, that you're going to have to do is a survival round, as you can see, and we are obviously going to have a pretty I wouldn't say an easy time, but I would say it would be it's much simpler for us to survive on this level than pretty much anything else. Nice, we got a ring. That's great. Okay, let me get that. The ring is not that great. It only gives us a little bit of health and some damage, but it's gonna be nice for now, you know. It's gonna be nice for now, and hopefully we'll be able to get some more as time goes on. I would like to try and kill more enemies, because obviously at the end here it's gonna absorb all of this juicy experience, and we're hopefully going to be able to level up very nicely, very handily indeed. What is this down here? Let's just loot that. There we go. Very nice. Okay, there we go. Make sure. Yeah, look at that. The arcane projectile. Do you see what I mean about the arcane projectile? It literally goes. It's got a 6-second cooldown, and that is a pretty hefty cooldown for an ability like this, but it does so much and sticks around so long on the map. It really makes a huge difference to Aaron's consistency, shall we say, because the fireball that he has, the fireball is not that strong in my opinion. Okay, critical chance. I will be taking the critical chance instead of the HP. Thank you very much. And now let's get... Oh, what is that? What is that right there? What did we just get? I keep opening the skills menu for some reason. I don't know why I keep doing that, but I keep opening the skills menu instead of opening the bags. So, yeah, that's great. But yeah, let's try and inflict some damage here. Nice. Okay, there we go. I did manage to kill a handful before we went to the next level, but as you can see, yeah, look at that. We're halfway to level 3, and we also leveled up already as well. So let's see. The first explosion slows hit enemies or increase the area of effect's size by 30%, because as you can see from level 2 here, upon hitting a target, it creates a small area of effect that deals 25% damage to nearby enemies. This effect happens for the first 4 targets hit by the arcane projectile. Let's increase the area of effect. I think that sounds very good. And we're going to have 287 gold. Let's see what we get here. Let's go with this one. 4% amplification. I think that sounds very useful. Now we can choose our destiny. And we can open all the tombs and stay alive, Tomb Raider, or we can go for survival. I think survival is definitely my preference. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to be opening a huge amount of tombs, right? I want to get loads of these. I want to try to make sure that we get as many crystals as possible. So that's what we're going to do. Oh, what do we have here? Did I just get a legendary? No, but I did get something amazing. Actually, wait a minute. It does seem as though this is a slightly rarer item, but it looks as though it is slightly cursed. So we are going to be having less defense, but that's okay, because now we have just gained an additional projectile, which I am very much on board with. Thank you very much. That's going to be so nice. So let's see what else we can get here. What did I get just now? Cursed Phalanx? That sounds pretty good. We also got this. Removes all unequipped items from your inventory, and each removed item grants 5% experience. Yeah, so as you can see, we just opened a cursed chest. So every time you open a cursed chest, you will have a random modifier applied to the enemies. Sometimes they can, shall we say, bleed corrupted blood. If they bleed corrupted blood, that means that enemies that stand in the blood will heal. If you know World of Warcraft, then you'll know about, well, maybe you won't, maybe you will, but if you've ever played Mythic Plus in the past, and you know the Sanguine affix for Mythic Plus, then that's basically what it is. And yeah, that is very, very harsh, because if an elite, like this guy, stands on some corrupted blood, he will literally just heal himself. He'll just heal himself back up to full HP. It's very, very powerful. So do be careful with that. Otherwise, we should have an... Ooh, nice. There we go. Eliminated that elite very, very handily right there. And we are basically just about to level up. Very nice. Let's get Arcane Projectile level 4. There we go. Upon hitting an enemy, the projectile leaves 2 magic orbs that deal 25% damage to enemies and last for 4 seconds. This effect happens for the first 3 targets. Very good. I like it. I like it. Look at this. Yeah, it's going to get even better as time goes on. I cannot wait to actually kill more and more enemies here. Let's actually try and see if we can... Yep. Let's try and inflict as much damage as possible here. And try to get more experience. We just want as much experience as possible. Let's see if I can go to the main globule of enemies. There we are. Okay, come on. More. Nice. Okay. We did as much as we could there. Hopefully, maybe I'll level up. Yes, we did actually level up. Very good. All right, let's see. Increase the limit of explosions generated by the arcane projectile by +3, or increase the limit of targets that leave orbs upon being hit by the arcane projectile by +2. I think we're probably going to go for the explosions. I don't know how much damage the little projectiles that it leaves. I don't know how much damage that actually does, but yeah. Anyway, you can no longer equip common rarity items. The next common rarity rune you remove will permanently increase your attributes. Wow, the cost of that is actually insane. I'm not going to go for any of this. You can obviously decline to, you know, choose any of it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to defeat the elite foes in this room to proceed. That's what we'll do here. And I will be very quickly just opening up everything that I can here. What is this? Nice. A sphere of electrocution. There we go. You do have the opportunity to equip 3 trinkets. And when you equip the 3 trinkets, they provide you with additional abilities. Because obviously you're not only going to be wanting to have your basic abilities, you know, fireball and, you know, arcane projectile, for example. Those are my abilities at the moment, my base abilities. And obviously you start with fireball. So you don't really only want to have that, right? You want to have other abilities, and that's exactly why they give you these trinkets, because then you can customize your experience just that much further, and I personally like that a great deal. Now, here's the Enchanted Blade. I'm not entirely sure if I want to do that instead of the Sigil of Flames. It has a 5-second cooldown. Yeah, you know what? Let's try it out. Let's see what happens, because it might be quite fun. I don't know if the Sigil of Flame is actually any good, so I'm kind of just trying to, you know, try things out a little bit, see what's actually going on with that. What's this? What's this? Ah, look at that. Cooldown reduction. Critical damage. Sounds pretty good. We are losing some experience gain, but I guess that's okay. Maybe we'll get our hands on some other experience gaining items or something like that a little bit later on. Maybe that will be nice, but we'll see. Okay, so arcane projectile, we kind of just have to rely on that at the moment in doing some pretty hefty damage. Look at that. Yeah, it's actually doing a lot. I'm very intrigued actually to see once we die, if we die. I think we will probably die, but we're having a decent-ish time at this point. But let's just say that if we do die, I'm going to be very much looking forward to seeing what the damage breakdown is. because the damage breakdown is definitely going to reveal some rather intriguing possibilities in regards to maybe us, you know, deciding that we want to go for different abilities in the future. For example, different level up abilities, you know, things like that. So we'll see what we can do. But otherwise, where is that last elite? Where is the last elite? I mean, technically, the funny thing is about these levels, you know, about the defeating elites levels, for example, if you don't defeat the elites, you can technically stay on the level infinitely, and you can just grind away on experience if you wanted to, right? You could potentially do that. That might be a strategy that you could utilize to potentially get some really, really nice experience, and a lot of items as well that you could potentially get too. So, you know, for example, me just, you know, doing this, yeah, you could technically do that. Treasure-eating slimes are spawning for 54 seconds. Oh no. Foes no longer drop loot or experience, and the exit gates have been opened. The room time limit. Ah, there we go. The room time limit. Okay, so there you go. That's what I was just talking about. That I was just talking about the fact that we could potentially wait and use the room for an extraordinary amount of time. That is something the developer thought of. So there is a time limit. I didn't know that. Okay, well, there you go. I don't mind that. That's absolutely fine. Anyway, the projectile leaves a mark on the hit target. Okay, that sounds pretty good. Increase the limit of marks. Increase the magic orb's damage by 25%. Increase the limit of marks? Yeah, let's do that, I guess. I have no idea. I don't know what's good there. Okay, let's have a look. Gain 10% bonus amplification if you have more than 20% shrinkage. Well, we certainly don't have that. All unequipped items in your inventory will be randomly exchanged for other items of the same rarity. I don't know whether I really care about that. What is concentration? Increase the duration of bleed effects. Okay. Doesn't particularly sound that good. Yeah, no, I think we're just going to use bitter learning essence, or we're going to find a shop. Let's see. Maybe there's a shop? No, there is no shop. Okay, let's go and delete the delete the elites. Yes, delete the elites once again. We'll see what we can do with that. Maybe we'll do okay. Otherwise, we'll maybe need... Let's see here. Maybe we'll need a little bit of assistance. I'm not too sure. I actually very much like that laser beam thing. That laser beam thing that we've got going on right now. That is our orb of electrocution. If I can get my hands on a second orb of electrocution, I wouldn't mind that. I'd be pretty happy with that, to be honest. I would like that a great deal. Okay, so let's actually see what happens here, because we do have this crazy cool thing with the arcane projectile now, that it does seem to produce these little explosive orbs on the floor here, which I am very, very much wanting to see how much damage they actually end up doing. That is seemingly very, very fun. Okay. Yeah, that is going to be extremely, extremely useful if we have ever a part where enemies are just insanely... well, just gathering around us in big globules of things. That would be very, very nice. Okay, yeah, so as you can see, the Sphere of Electrocution, you can actually use multiples of these. So I would love to get my hands on another one. Yeah, I guess I'm going to use the Bitter Learning Essence right now. That's going to get me some additional experience. As you can see, we can now spec into level 8. Every second, the magic orbs create a link between themselves, dealing 70% damage to all enemies in the path. That actually sounds extremely powerful, so I'm very happy with this. Let's see if I can loot this chest. Thank you. Give me that. Thanks very much. And yeah, we're basically just going to try and see if I can... Where are the... there we go. Where are the elites? There they are. Okay, we want to try to... We want to try to eliminate them. For some reason, I think I already eliminated... Didn't I already eliminate one elite? I thought I already eliminated one elite, but apparently not. I'm gonna die here, I think. Yes, I think I will probably die. It's pretty easy to die in this game, so you do have to be very careful. The hitboxes are very tight, though, so just bear that in mind. So, in general, what that means is you're not gonna take damage unless you run smack dab into them, and obviously, I am kind of an idiot. So generally, you know, that happens more often than not. As you can see right there, I just took massive damage from those skeletons. I was trying to lure the elite into the electrical... the electrical beams, shall we call them? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I was trying to lure them in there. So we actually leveled up once again. So what are we going to spec in? Well, we could spec into Electrocuted Orb. I don't really like this ability because it summons an orb in the direction you're facing. So if you're trying to run away, in particular, from a bunch of enemies, and you use this ability, the ability is going to fire in the direction that you're running, which makes no sense. So that's kind of the reason why I don't really like to take it. You can obviously manipulate this, so if you want to, you can turn around as soon as it's about to be cast, and then you can use it, and it has been shown to do very good damage, but I'm just not a big fan of it myself. Now, teleport, create a teleport rune at your location, activate instantly, moves you to the marked spot, and grants 1 second of invulnerability. In other words, this is a really, really nice ability if you want to get out of a particularly tight area. For me personally, I'm going to spec into Fireball. I'd like to try and see how good Fireball can actually become. We can get magic crystals. Nice. Okay, yeah, I will actually do that. And the transient merchant, yeah, no, I'm going to go for those 2 magic crystals. I actually like that a great deal. We can go into the shop as well. There we go. Very nice. Okay, hopefully we're going to be able to maybe even purchase a healing potion. Maybe a healing potion would be quite nice. Oh, experience gain. Look at that. Yeah, funnily enough, I don't even have enough money for the experience gain, the 39% increased experience gain. I find that quite amusing, actually. Let me see. I can sell this, though. There we go. And now we can afford it, so I will be buying that. And, ooh, it reduces our projectile count, but I think that's going to be worth it. I think that's going to be worth it for now. We can actually put this into the stash. Oh, it costs money to put it in the stash. I didn't know that. Oh, dearie me. Alright, I had no idea that it actually costs money. Technically, what I could do is I could sell my 2 rings, but we would lose quite a lot of damage. Okay, yeah, we're just going to have to make do with what we have here. That's so sad. I would have loved to have put that projectile thing in that area there. Alright, yeah, lost cards. Find cards to be able to proceed. I've never done this one, so I have no idea what this entails. But let's hope that it's actually going to work out for us. Wow, that's a lot of enemies that we just summoned. That is a huge amount of enemies that we just summoned. But thankfully, yeah, we're going to be getting a load of experience at the same time here. So, yeah, we'll see what we can do. Maybe we'll be lucky. Yep, no, we're doing nice, we're doing nice. Wow, these things are literally summoning so hard. I have no idea where these cards are. Ah, there's one. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so they can basically be anywhere. I thought that they might be in places that I'd have to loot, because this is the first time I've actually done this modifier. And what is this? Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this. I'm not a big fan of this particular trinket, treasure, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to make our way up here instead, because we do have more enemies to kill us. Yes, we want more enemies to kill us. Thank you very much. That sounds like a great plan, doesn't it? Okay, so I think what we'll have to do, though, is... Whoa, that was close. Okay, I was actually kind of hoping that the zombie would not grab onto me. It would have been pretty terrible if it did. Oh, nice. Okay, I've actually almost found all the cards, but I think I might be dying here. I might be dying here, because the enemies are being pushed towards me because of the cursed item that I opened. Yes, as you can see, for 30 seconds, they get pushed towards you, and it's very bad indeed. It's very bad. Oh, no. I want to go over there to that crypt, but yeah, that's not really going to work, is it? No, that's not really going to work. 2 seconds. I just need to survive for another 2 seconds, then we should be okay. Yes, we managed to make it. Okay, so the question is, where's the final card? Where is the final card I need? Yeah, it's nowhere here. Ah, the bats dive into me. I think I might be dead. No. We're almost dead. Almost dead. I actually just leveled up. Let me actually just spec that. Final explosion. Yeah, let's increase the fireball's explosive radius. And... Whoa. Okay, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to do this, unfortunately, friends. I think that is going to be game over for me. I don't think I'm going to have the opportunity to do this. But maybe I am. Oh, there's the cards. Boom, we did it. Fantastic. Look at that. Actually had a great time there, and we're going to be getting huge amounts of experience in the process. Look at that, 2 level ups. Let's go for Fireball level 2. Let's go for Orbiting Fire. Yeah, sure, why not? Let's go for the Orbiting Fire, and then we'll see what this guy has for us. Slowing an enemy deals damage equal to 5% of their maximum health. Gain 5 max health when opening a cursed chest. Yeah, I guess we'll do that. Let's see what we get. We're gonna just go for something random. Survive. Alright, so we're just surviving. Okay, 140 seconds. That should be okay. I think enemies are not gonna drop loot, but that's okay. I don't think I really need that. Wow, yeah, we are doing massive damage right now. And I think I might even... Oh, wow, hello. What is that? What did I just gain right there? Ah, projectile count. Okay, yeah, no, I don't really need that. What is this? Rod of Protection. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Rod of Protection. Basically, it just slows enemies and repels them, and unstoppable enemies take triple damage, but it has a 15-second cooldown. I'm not a big fan of the higher cooldown items. I like to see things going off a lot more often, but maybe it's useful. I don't know. Maybe it's really, really good. Anyway, let's just do this. Oh, wow, that's some amazing armor right there. That is some insane chest armor. Unfortunately, I don't think it's something that I can wear. As you can see, it isn't. It's something for Rebecca, and this is insanely good for her, but obviously I would have to put it in my stash, and I didn't have enough money to be able to do that at the time. Now, this is going to be a bit of a problem if I get myself killed here. Well, no, we're actually fine. I'm actually surprised about that. I thought I was dead there for a second. 90 seconds remaining. There is no way I'm going to be able to survive this. Not in a million years, right? Not if these bats have anything to say about it. As you can see, the bats will lunge. They will lunge at you. And them lunging is very good for their fitness. But it's also good for, well, their blood-sucking capabilities, of course. If they are actually blood-sucking bats. They might not be. Okay, hello. Oh, hello. That is actually an extremely nice... Yes, that is very, very cool. Alright, gonna probably put that on. Thanks very much. Now, shrinkage. Shrinkage is a stat that is very, very... well, for me, kind of rare. It's kind of rare for me to get the shrinkage stat from items. But basically, shrinkage... Yep, I thought that was going to happen. But it's okay. As you can see, we gained a huge amount of experience. We unlocked the Arcane Beam skill, which, again, is another one of the abilities that we can indeed use as time goes on. I'm going to be extremely, extremely happy to see that. And otherwise, we also gained 20. Look at that, 20 crystals. That is amazing. And then we're going to be able to level up even more. And I am... Look at this. Look at this. Oh, I am so excited. Anyway, if you would like to check out Unwanted Dungeon, there is a link in the description. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.